Hello YouTube, and welcome to Jonny Skywatcher Live. If you don't know who I am, this is my YouTube channel, my little box on the internet, and I'm your host, Jonny Skywatcher. And this is the show where I like to talk about movies, TV, gaming, and sometimes, but not always, whatever else small news bits I find out there that I find interesting. So, with that out of the way, let's get to my first topic today. If I can do this successfully. By the way, there is no team behind here. There's no team behind the camera, so this is all me. So that's why sometimes there's a delay in things, because I have to get it set up. So let's talk about the recent release date changes. So the merry-go-round, or what is the word I'm looking for? What is the game? Musical chairs of of release dates continues as Black Widow is pushed back along with other Marvel movies and other Disney projects. So I think this was on a bunch of different news sources. I'm just getting this story from Deadline. So Black Widow is moving from November 6th to May 7th, 2021. Which, if you recall, its original release date, it was already, its first release date was in May. So basically, it's now getting pushed back a full year from its original release date. And so that also means that Marvel's Eternals, which was going to come out February 12th, 2021, which is itself is its second release date, because it was originally going to be, and what now is Black Widow's old release date in November. I think that was its original release date. It's kind of confusing. I kind of feel like I need a chart to keep all these things straight, but my chart budget isn't quite there, so we're just doing it in my head. So yes, it's getting moved back to forward, I should say, to November 5th, 2021, which will be basically a full year from what its original release date. And then, you know, it's sort of just a domino effect through the Marvel movies. One goes, and then they kind of keep moving on. On. And then you have Shang-Chi, and it then gets moved to from May 7th, 2021 to July 9th, 2021. Let me see, is that right? Oh, that's interesting. Wait, I didn't realize that. So it's getting moved from May 7th, 2021 to July 9th, 2021. So Shang-Chi is actually coming out before Eternals now. Unless this got it wrong. Kingsman. Okay, that's interesting. So they actually, it looks like they, unless this article is wrong, it looks like the release dates of Eternals and Shang-Chi switched, because Shang-Chi was going to come after Eternals, and now it looks like it's going to be switched. Actually, let me just double check that. Let me look up Shang-Chi, what it says on its IMDb now. Should be updated. Expected July 9th, 2021. And Eternals is expected, let's see what it says. Expecting November 5th, 2021. So yes, that's interesting. I think maybe that says something about what Disney sort of is thinking with Eternals. I think more of what it says with Eternals, that they want to keep it around that sort of date. Maybe, I don't know. It probably has some marketing reason behind it. They don't want to put it in the middle of summer. Maybe because Eternals isn't that sort of big summer blockbuster. Just me sort of guessing. They moved it, so they moved it from November to February, and now moved it ahead of passing by Shang-Chi to November again. So maybe, I don't know if that tells us anything about the movie, but one could speculate. I don't necessarily think it would be because of award season or anything like that, because then they wouldn't have moved it to February the first time. But I think there is definitely something there that seems interesting. I'm not quite sure what it means. Anyway, moving on, then also trickling up into Eternal's February spot is The Kingsman, which I don't even know when that was supposed to come out a while ago, I think. And then it got delayed. I don't even know. Which jumps ahead from its February 26, 2021 release date. So, wait, what is it moving to? Oh, I think it's moving to Eternals February 12th. Yeah, it would be helpful if they had like a chart or something. Check out. Okay, so Eternals delayed to November 5th, 2021. And then we also have news on some other projects being delayed. Death on the Nile is moving just a short distance from October 23rd to December 18th. And West Side Story, which is going to be the adaptation from Steven Spielberg, is moving from this year to next year, basically. December 18th to next year's December 10th, 2021. I think that's the big reason for that is they want it to be an awards contender, and they're basically moving them this year to next year. Well, they also want it to make money at the box office. I think it's one of those movies where it's not just like an indie film that's only going to be an awards contender and it isn't going to make any money. They also want to make money on it, but they also want it to be sort of an awards contender. And then also, in the past few years, there have been some very successful musicals that have debuted around Christmas, I think. The biggest one that comes to mind is, of course, The Greatest Showman, which actually ended up doing a lot better than people thought it would. And that came out shortly before Christmas. I think, was that the same year? I think that was the same year that The Last Jedi came out. So I think that's probably what they're aiming for with putting it around December. And then not delaying it to delaying it a full year that way. And then in other news, Soul seems to be sticking to November 20th. And we'll have to see what happens with that. I think Disney did not, when they announced Mulan moving to Disney Plus, I don't think they gave very much time. I think it was like less than maybe like a month or so. Because I remember, I think it was maybe the beginning of August or the end of... Boy, I really wish I had someone behind camera somewhere where I just tell them look it up really quickly. I don't know. That's a certain... You know what? While I'm talking about this, let me just quickly look up that Mulan going to Disney Plus news. When was that first announced is what I want to know. September. Okay, what? Okay, I guess I don't know. That's not gonna work. It's gonna take too much time to find. Anyway, Soul sticking to their release date. There's this other movie, Croods 2, which apparently exists. They just released a trailer, I think, this last weekend or something like that. Who knew that was happening? And who knows if that's coming out or not. I think it said Thanksgiving. And I think that's the end to the release changes. Okay, here we have a summary at the end. some smaller movies I don't really know about. The War with Grandpa, Two Hearts, Honest Thief, The Empty Man, Fatale, Come Play. So nothing big in October. Let Him Go in November. Freaky. I did see the trailer for this. That looked interesting. Not interesting enough for me to go to the theaters to see, but still, it looks interesting. It's a low budget horror movie. Comeback trailer have not heard of. No Time to Die. I'll be interested to see if that keeps its release date. And then Soul, which looks like right now might be keeping its release date in theaters. Although Disney could always pull a fast one and put it on Disney Plus. Who knows? And moving on, Voyagers, Happiest Season, The Croods, A New Age. Yeah, I guess whatever. Free Guy. Death on the Nile looks like that's happening December 18th. But then also, we haven't heard about Dune being delayed. I kind of hope that they do delay Dune, because I just realized I wasn't even sharing this screen. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I kind of hope that they do delay Dune, because if they don't delay, if Warner Brothers doesn't delay Dune, that to me that tells me they don't care. They're just kind of tossing it out there, like, we don't care if this succeeds or doesn't succeed. Like, just whatever, just get it out. I really hope they do delay it, because it looks really good, and I think I think it could limit its level of success if it comes out, before things are really up and running again when it comes to movie theaters. And then moving on, we have Wonder Woman 1984 and News of the World. So yeah, not that many big releases left, and some of them could still move. I'm not going to be surprised if Dune moves. Death on the Nile is probably going to stay there. I haven't heard anything about Coming to America 2, like a trailer or anything. So is that still happening? I don't know. I mean, it's a comedy, so usually, it's not like some superhero movie where the trailer comes out six months beforehand. It's just a short teaser. I think usually with comedies, they can release the trailer much sooner before the release date. The Croods: A New Age looks like it's probably still happening in some shape or form, but I think probably their strategy with this movie would be, if it doesn't do well, that it'll go to video on demand really fast. And then the other question I have is about these two movies. No Time to Die, will that stick to its release date? Maybe. And Soul, I think if they were going to delay, so they would have announced it with all these other announcements. So I don't think the release date's changing. But the thing that could change with Soul is it could always just go to Disney Plus. Now the question is, was Mulan successful with premium access on Disney Plus? We don't know. Only Disney knows, and they're not telling anyone. I think if they put Soul on Disney Plus, that would be a sign that it was not as terrible as some people seem to be thinking. But I don't know. I think it is clear with them moving Black Widow to, now I can't even remember the date, to May. I think that it's clear for the most part that that Mulan on Premier Access has not completely revolutionized the industry, unknown to everybody else. Maybe it's made some money, maybe even like $200 million would be good for Disney, but it's not like revolutionizing everything. It's not like it's made like $400, $500 in the US market alone. No, I don't think that's reasonable or even very likely. But at the same time, I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with Soul, because that will give us an idea about how well Mulan did. Because if Soul comes out in theaters, I think that's a good sign that the Mulan experiment didn't work. and didn't do that well, and so Disney's just moving ahead with everything else. Because I don't as much as Disney said this is a one-off thing, I don't think they were planning on anything either way. But I think if Mulan had been super successful for the company, they would have started changing gears by now. Now, is it possible that even if that Mulan wasn't that successful, if they look at the numbers, they crunch the numbers, and they do make changes in the future? Yes, that's still possible. They could still decide to put Soul on Disney Plus. They could even Black Widow. I don't think they will, but they could, even if they decide, if they release, Soul on Disney Plus and that does really well or something, and things in the world get even worse, maybe they'll decide to change Black Widow to a Disney Plus Premier Access. Who knows? Who knows? It's a big question. Or they could even do a thing, which I haven't seen really anyone talk about, is do a more of a modified. I mean, putting it solely on Disney Plus as a Premier Access was sort of a bold move by Disney. They could do something different where it comes out in theaters and then is only exclusive for maybe a month or something, and then is available on Disney for Premier Access before it comes to video on demand. That's always a thing. And then maybe playing around with the price, because I think for most people, $30 was a little expensive for a movie that they weren't really that into, and that was sort of the problem with Mulan. So maybe if they come down, adjust that price a little bit, maybe say $20. A month after the movie comes out, you can pay $20 to see it on Disney Plus. Maybe. I think the biggest thing with Mulan, the biggest problem they kind of just shot themselves in the foot with it, which I've said before, is the fact that they said right before it was coming out, oh, by the way, this is going to be available for all our subscribers on Disney Plus in December. So you only have to wait 3 months. Why would you tell people that? Even if that's going to be the case, don't tell people that. I was saying that it would make more sense to me if I was running the company, if say, okay, we know this is a new model, it's going to be on Disney Plus for Premier Access for 6 months. They should have at least 6 months. There have been longer windows between like a movie coming out and getting to like reasonable streaming than that. I mean, some of them are more like 9 months. So that's what I would have said. I would have said it won't be available on Disney Plus for regular subscribers until next year at least. And then maybe in December I would have said it'll be available on other VOD platforms. So you can rent it for like $6. So like you can pay $30 now or wait till December, and then you still gotta pay. And then even then, rental would be the idea that like you only able to watch it that 48 hours. Anyway, that's my whole opinion on that. I don't know. It's a very, very interesting what's going on with the release schedule. If you're watching this, let me know what you think about all these movies moving around on the release schedule. Is this good? This bad? And in some ways, I think Black Widow being pushed further and further, it creates more time between Endgame and Far From Home, and sort of allows us this palate cleanser. And I think if the Disney Plus shows end up coming out before Black Widow, I think that should be good, because it'll be, especially if it is WandaVision, which is what is looking like to be the first MCU thing to come out since Far From Home. I think that could serve as like this good palate cleanser, this kind of like new different thing, and then we'll go have this like sort of Black Widow, this sort of throwback to old MCU before jumping into some weird new things with Shang-Chi and the Eternals. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. That was my first topic. I try to make 3 topics for each show. This is going to run a little bit longer, but let's move on to that next topic, which is not that. There we go. So, Peacemaker who is the character that I'm not familiar with, but that the character John Cena is playing in the Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad 2. Not really. It's the new Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn is directing for Warner Brothers is going to have a TV spinoff ordered by HBO Max. So this is apparently the poster from HBO Max. Expletive. It's Peacemaker, only on HBO Max. I don't really know anything about this character, but it looks like they're capitalizing on the character being played by John Cena, which might have been one of the reasons, one of the ways they were able to get him to take the role, is if they told him that they're interested in doing a spinoff with him. So, yes, HBO Max has called in the Peacemaker, ordering a TV spinoff of James Gunn's upcoming Suicide Squad movie starring John Cena. The streamer has handed Peacemaker an 8-episode straight-to-series order for its first season, with the Suicide Squad director writing all episodes and directing a number of them. That is interesting. That is good. Like, that James Gunn's going to be heavily involved with it, not directing all of them, but like writing all the episodes. That's interesting. The show will explore the origins of the character that Cena plays in the 2021 movie. And so, yeah, I wanted to get an idea of like who the heck is Peacemaker. So let's just do like a quick wiki dive into this. So Peacemaker is the name of a series of superheroes originally owned by Charlton Comics and later acquired by DC Comics. And here he is. He's I think. Let me see if I can find a photo of John Cena. I think it looks pretty accurate to the comic book outfit. John Cena temporarily lost my mind. Couldn't remember what I'm doing. So yeah, I mean, if you look at this compared to that looks pretty comic accurate. It's like the costumes in the new the Suicide Squad are looking really crazy, which I was surprised they didn't have a full trailer or at least a teaser with the DC fandom event, which they released the trailer for the Batman, but they didn't have anything for Suicide Squad, which I was surprised by. And then apparently there's been several different characters. I'm gonna assume he's Christopher Smith. I don't know anything about this guy. Let's just read about this first one. Peacemaker is Christopher Smith, a pacifist diplomat so committed to peace that he was willing to use force as a superhero to advance the cause. That's weird. A pacifist. Wait. A pacifist so committed to peace, he was willing to use force. I don't know if that counts as a pacifist. So it looks like they're putting a humorous spin on the concept. I don't know if that's originally how he was portrayed. Probably, I'm guessing not. But just the idea of this a pacifist diplomat so committed to peace that he was willing to use force. Well, he uses special non-lethal weapons, but yeah, I don't think that really counts as being a pacifist. It's like calling Batman a pacifist because he doesn't kill people. Like, no, he's not really a pacifist. Let's see, is there anything interesting? Other versions? Television. He's been mentioned in a Black Lightning episode, and he will be the main character. Okay. And then what does the DC wiki have any other information about him? Maybe Peacemaker. There's another picture. Okay, his abilities. Okay, let's look into what his power and abilities are. Abilities: hand-to-hand combat. So he doesn't have any superpowers. Firearms, tactical analysis, driving, in aviation. Weaknesses, mental illness. Oh, that's not good. Peacemaker suffered from bipolar disorder and possibly schizophrenia, believing that the souls of people he killed inhabited his helmet and spoke to him. He was also plagued by hallucinations of his dead father egging him on to violence. When he resurfaced years later and encountered Blue Beetle, Peacemaker's mental illness was no longer in evidence. I really hope this is part of his character in the Suicide Squad in this series. It definitely needs to have the idea that the souls of people he killed inhabits his helmet. And then you know what they really need for the series is to have what's her name? She's not going to be in the new movie, but she was in the first Suicide Squad. Katana, or I don't the Asian girl who had the sword that trapped the souls of the people she killed in her sword. They should have a conversation. That would be interesting, especially because I'm assuming in this adaptation that wouldn't be really happening with his helmet. He just thinks it is. They need to have this. That'd be so awesome. That makes me look really forward to John Cena's portrayal of this character, because I can already sort of picture that in my head of John Cena playing this guy who says he's a pacifist so dedicated to the cause of peace that has forced him to fight. I'm on board. I'm already on board with this. Just looking up a little bit about the character, I'm already on board. Let's go. I can't talk. What do you think? Are you on board for this idea? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll move on to the final topic, which will be just short little thing to look at, which is the Chinese box office. So the 800 has become 2020's biggest film globally, and unless things start changing drastically with the US box office and other, like, even the world box office, it might be the world's biggest film this year, which I think would be a first, because I know that other years there's been some big Chinese films that have like been in the top 10, maybe even the top 5, but there's always been some big blockbuster that was above it. And this could be the year that we have so little coming out that basically a movie that makes almost like over 90% of its money just from the Chinese box office is number one. And then that's the thing with this that makes it interesting, that it's being on top, is that it unlike US blockbusters that make a whole lot of money overseas, it's making all its money from China. And you know, if you look at its worldwide box office, it's like nothing compared to what it's making in China. So yeah, in fact, let's just go over to Box Office Mojo. If you look at worldwide, right now they have it at 425 million compared to Bad Boys for Life, which is at 424 million. And I don't know how much more it's actually going to make. Like, if you look at domestic, here in the US, it's made 300 million. So not that much. And even if you look at the other markets, let's just decrease that a little bit. UK 19,000, 240,000, China 425,000. So that's like pretty much all of its money. So I mean, according to Box Office Mojo right now, it's saying other than China, it's made 650,000. So yeah, that just shows you the strength of the Chinese box office right now compared to the world, and especially the US. So I gotta stop saying so much. I don't know. I like to think that the more I do this, the more I can get better at public speaking, and so that I'm trying really hard to cut back on bad habits like ums and ahs and so's. Ums and ahs, working on it, so I'm having trouble with, because I get stuck where I don't know what to say next, and then I'm like, what how do I start? How do I start my next sentence when I don't know where I'm going exactly? It's the thing I'm working on. Stick with me. Hopefully I'll get a little bit better about it. But I think that's going to take us to the end of the show. And if you are watching either now or in the future, thank you so much for just watching. That is the most helpful thing for me. If you want, always feel free to leave a comment. Lets me know that you actually watched the video, actually heard something I'm hearing. And also, if you could be so kind, just click that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I'm still working my way to 1,000 subscribers. It's a long way from here. I'm currently, I think, at 40 subscribers, so it's a long way in the future. So that's my goal right now. Really, my goal right now for this YouTube channel is just to grow it. And I think basically what I need right now is just subscribers and watch time, honestly, because as far as I can tell, on the road to monetization, that's what I need right now. Now, I mean, this is just a passion project right now, so it's something I'm having fun doing it, so I'm not going to get too serious about like really analyzing what each and every video I have does. I'm just going to try and keep doing this show and try and keep improving it little by little. I don't have a whole team working behind me or anything, so it's just me working on it. And hopefully someday people will discover this and like it. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.